America is standing on the edge of an economic cliff. And Donald Trump might just be the one pushing it over. While the world watches his political comeback with suspense, few are paying attention to the real threat: the fiscal destruction he's already igniting in 2025. His economic agenda is not just controversial, it's dangerously reckless. Tax cuts for billionaires, ballooning military budgets, and brutal attacks on environmental and regulatory frameworks, all while America's national debt surges past $36 trillion. So before it's too late, listen carefully. This isn't about left or right. This is about survival. Because if Trump gets his way, the United States might soon face an irreversible economic collapse. If you believe this kind of analysis needs to reach more people, make sure to like the video, leave your opinion in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Let's break the silence around this fiscal time bomb. The return of the debt king. Donald Trump left office in January 2021 with a federal deficit of nearly $3.1 trillion, the largest in U.S. history at the time. Yet somehow, he returned in 2025 with even more aggressive fiscal promises, and fewer ways to pay for them. He's now pushing to extend and expand his 2017 tax cuts, which already added over $2 trillion to the national debt over a decade. But that's not all. His team is floating proposals to eliminate inheritance taxes completely, slash corporate taxes even further, cut funding for environmental agencies, and spend hundreds of billions more on defense and border walls. Where is that money coming from? It's not. Trump's plan is to borrow massively, without a care for the long-term consequences. He claims this will stimulate growth. But what it's actually doing is inflating the debt at a time when interest rates are higher than ever. And that leads us to the next dangerous piece of this puzzle. Interest, the new American killer. In 2025, interest on the U.S. debt is expected to surpass defense spending. That means for every tax dollar collected, a growing portion is used just to pay interest, not for schools, roads, healthcare, or security. Think about that. You're paying taxes not for your future, but to service a debt created by irresponsible policies. Trump's reckless expansion of the deficit is accelerating this crisis. During his first term, the U.S. could borrow cheaply because interest rates were near zero. Now, the Fed's benchmark rate is above 5%, which means every new dollar Trump borrows is a heavy burden that American taxpayers will carry for decades. And with Trump once again attacking the independence of the Federal Reserve, the economic damage could go far beyond debt. War on the Fed, an economic earthquake in the making. In 2025, Trump has launched a silent war on the Federal Reserve. He wants full control of monetary policy. He has threatened to replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell with a loyalist who will cut interest rates by force, no matter what inflation looks like. What does that mean? It means the US dollar, the bedrock of global finance, could lose credibility. Foreign investors are already nervous. The yield on US Treasury bonds is rising. Credit rating agencies are warning of a downgrade. If Trump politicizes the Fed and floods the economy with cheap money just to chase growth before the 2026 midterms, the result could be a return to double-digit inflation, currency devaluation, and a loss of trust in America's financial system. The illusion of growth. Who really benefits? Trump and his allies love to promise economic growth. But look closer. Who really benefits? In 2025, inequality in the U.S. is at historic highs. The wealthiest 1% now own more than 32% of the nation's wealth, while the bottom 50% are drowning in consumer debt, student loans, and unaffordable housing. Trump's tax policies widen that gap. His deregulation of Wall Street opens the door for more speculative bubbles, not long-term prosperity. And his cuts to education and climate programs rob future generations of any meaningful investment in stability. This is not economic patriotism. It's class warfare, disguised as freedom. America's global image, from leader to liability. Internationally, Trump's fiscal chaos is shaking confidence in U.S. leadership. In 2025, the BRICS nations, led by China, Russia, and India, are actively working to replace the dollar in global trade. And guess what's making their job easier? Trump's economic mismanagement. The U.S. is no longer seen as a safe haven. The IMF and World Bank have both issued quiet warnings. Nations are diversifying their reserves away from U.S. bonds. Why? Because when Trump threatens to default, shuts down the government over budget fights, or says America can just print more money, the world listens and loses faith. The coming storm: what happens next? If Trump continues on this path through 2025 and beyond, here's what analysts say we could see: a full-blown debt crisis, where interest payments consume more than 20% of the federal budget. A credit downgrade that makes borrowing even more expensive. A global sell-off of U.S. Treasury bonds. Pressure on the dollar, leading to inflation and reduced purchasing power for American families. And long-term erosion of America's economic and geopolitical power. This is not some dystopian fantasy. This is a real possibility if current trends continue. Conclusion: a warning to America. Donald Trump says he wants to make America great again. But in 2025, his fiscal policies are making America broke again. This is a warning not just for Democrats or independents, but for conservatives, business leaders, and working Americans who care about the nation's future. You can't bomb your way out of a debt crisis. You can't deregulate your way to stability. And you certainly can't keep printing money while promising tax cuts and pretending the math doesn't matter. We're not just watching a political comeback. We're watching a fiscal time bomb, and it's already ticking. What do you think about Trump's economic strategy? Is he saving America, or sinking it? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into global power, politics, and economics. Stay aware, stay informed, and prepare, because the next crisis may already be here.